Welcome back, everyone. Toyshiz here, and I am back yet again with yet another Spawn video. And today, we're going to be checking out the entirety of the brand new McFarlane Toys Spawn's Universe Wave 4. And a shout out and a thank you to McFarlane Toys for sending over Nightmare Spawn and Omega Spawn. The rest I picked up from Target. Now, first and foremost, here's the $50 offering for Spawn's Universe in the form of Omega Spawn. A big mega-sized figure. Look at the glorious artwork on the sides and on the back of the box. Unfortunately, a lot of that is lost in the figure. Here's the barcode if you want to go ahead and find him in the stores. The next set, lower price point, $40 range, a duo double pack. Of course, Sam and Twitch. Really looking forward to these guys. Always nice to have a new set of Sam and Twitch figures, and here's the barcode for them as well. You can pick them up at Target or online. I'll put links down in the description below if you're interested. And then we have the three $25 figures, namely King Spider, which is an interesting figure to say the least. Interesting character choice, we'll just say. And here's the barcode for him as well. Very obscure, that King Spider. Followed by Nightmare Spawn. At least I think it's Nightmare Spawn. This is Nightmare Spawn to me. Oh, I got some thoughts on this guy. Just stay tuned. But, yeah, it's interesting, right? I don't think you'll need the barcode for that one. And then lastly, but not leastly, we have the Plague Spawn. And he looks pretty glorious. Newcomer character. Interesting. Kind of looks like Carnage, right? A lot of symbiotes going on in the Spawn universe. So, this is going to be fun. Sit back, relax, grab yourself a nice hot cup of coffee. This is a look at the brand new Spawn's Universe Wave 4 by McFarlane Toys. And while I got all you hell spawns here, I just want to say thanks so much for always checking out my Spawn videos. If you haven't already, please do consider subscribing. Old toys, new toys, daily news updates. Well, I guarantee you'll find something here that you like. Now, let's talk some Wave 4 Spawn's Universe action, and we'll kick it off with King Spider. And like I said, very obscure character out of the Spawn universe. I want to say he was pretty much a one-off villain that fought Spawn and the Ants at one point. If he has come back, it's news to me, but must be the newer comics. However, he does come with an interesting base. It has a peg on it, a couple broken boards, big skull right there. Not too shabby. It does work. It's just kind of awkward to kind of fit him in there. At least this figure has toe articulation. I wouldn't say it's the best place for a peg to peg in a figure, but at least it's kind of reminiscent of old-fashioned Spawn figures. He does come with extra hands. The other one I've already kind of attached to the chain, but as you can see, nicely painted for what's there. The chain is one of those sculpted plastic chain. It's not a real chain. That's what I think is sortedly missing from the Spawn universe line. The element of just what Spawn is. He can hold the chain. It does look like an action pose. So in that sense, it's okay. But largely, it's just there, you know what I mean? It's kind of cumbersome to attach. It's painted well. It works for what it is. Don't get me wrong. But you get what I'm saying. All the old Spawn fans, you know what I'm saying. And then you have a stand that doesn't really peg into the bottom. It's a little bit too small for the peg holes on the bottom of his feet, oddly enough. King Spider, I'll tell you right off the bat, it's a fine enough looking figure for a character that I didn't really need nor know that I wanted a figure for. You know what I mean? Yes, it does the trick. Is it a great figure? It's just okay. I would say the colors sort of clash a little bit. Not enough detail, not enough wash to the green. He's got little croc booty shoes on. The white, like the more cream color of his suit, is interesting. However, if you see right here, he has all these little marks. Now, this is part of the plastic. The face portrait is pretty decent. I'll give it to him. It's nicely painted. But the little marks everywhere in the white, looks like you took a white figure and put him in a bin of figures, left it for 10 years, and when you pulled them out, you were surprised, like, why did all the colors bleed onto the white figure? It's just, okay, interesting. The diaper part does work. I think they're getting better. I think that if it sculpts and molds to the figure instead of just a clear cut, it looks less of like a diaper. You know what I'm saying? So this one is a step in the right direction. The articulation is what it is. Again, no complaints really. It does all the usual Spawn figure tropes that we've gotten thus far. However, The joints, and you'll see on a lot of these figures, are very frozen joints. I'm just going to point that out. And that's odd to say. There's also a cheapiness to all of these figures, and that's a big disappointment. But overall, King Spider is just okay. Now, going from just okay to downright, what is this? I don't understand. First and foremost, I don't recall Nightmare Spawn ever looking like this. The peg does not fit in the peg hole to stand him up. That's just one. Like, bing, you know. The face sculpt, the look of the figure, it looks undone. It just looks like this was a first pass and they never went any further. I mean, look at the red gauntlet right here. It looks like sculpted Play-Doh. This is not a figure that a professional toy company made, right? This is something someone just switched out in the box on me. This is one of the worst Spawn figures that they've pretty much ever done. I mean, honestly, even the gaps in the legs, it's unfortunate because I don't have the original Nightmare Spawn, and when I heard that they were doing Nightmare Spawn, I got all excited. I was like, oh, yes, I'll finally have another chance. No, you can have it back. Thank you. I mean, even the wings on this guy, it just doesn't work at all. I mean, give it to him. The articulation is what it is. I'm not going to knock him for that. The wings, I thought maybe came out. Maybe if you pull hard enough, they will come out. But it doesn't look like they do. It just looks like a customized figure, but someone that just started doing it. I really can't find any nice things to say about this other than, well, it exists. I would never recommend this figure. I don't like the way this looks. This is not Nightmare Spawn to me. He's kind of loose in the joints and the arms, to be honest with you. So yes, if I could deter you anyway. I mean, even in the little marks that are all over the wing, just like somebody splashed paint. No, this is a complete backtrack for McFarlane Toys for their Spawn line. Moving on to Omega Spawn. We're going from yay to nay to now. Man, I kind of had high hopes for this figure. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm going to tell you right now. The sculpt on this guy, the paint on this guy is tremendous. I really do like the way that he turned out. But that's from far away and before we really start looking at it up close. Like, I'm impressed with how much paint that he has on him to really emphasize the sculpt. So it's a really nice looking sculpt. It's a little bit loose in the legs. And then on top of everything, when messing with his hands, I'm going like, okay, this works. So remember I brought up a lot of these figures have stuck joints, right? Well, unfortunately, as I was moving, like, okay, he's got this, and then just simply moving the hands, this happened right here. It just broke off. And it was like, what just happened here? So, yeah, the hands are broken. I just super glued the peg back on, stuck the hand back on. Like, it works again, but it broke. And I'm assuming that the other hand is going to break. And not only that, but I've had people write in and say, mine broke. So this is $50. And I can't honestly tell you ever to go out and grab this guy. With the exception of knowing that the hands can break, so don't use them. And then, yes, maybe get him on a clearance. I mean, even the backside of this figure, it's sculpted nicely, but then there's not much to it. It doesn't do anything. And I mean, it's just kind of like, yeah, he's there. It's an interesting character, but without real chains, without accessories, without all those powers, what is the point of this figure? He just stands there. So all the magnitude of this character, like a really cool, interesting character, we'll just say, is lost with just a humdrum release. Basically being, yeah, here's just the figure, and that to me is not McFarlane Toys, especially in Spawn. I mean, look at the size of the character, let alone in the comics. He's huge. Like, Spawn is itty-bitty next to this guy. And just in terms of showing you the scalature for, let's say, the Throne Spawn, yes, he's bigger, but he's not the big type character. Like, he should be up here, you know what I mean? So these are things that you could kind of, okay, fudge the size, whatever. But in terms of a figure breaking, for the price point, for the lack of accessories, the lack of hands, the lack of real chains, no, this is not a $50 figure. And no, I will not be recommending him unless you get him on clearance. Let's be clear on that. Now, with the Sam and Twitch, these were the figures I was most excited for because I thought, well, it's been a while since we have Sam and Twitch. They're some of my favorite characters from the Spawn universe, and they're fully articulated this time around. Now, Sam comes with a Tommy gun. Interesting choice. Not that I mind a Tommy gun, right? But nothing really comes to mind for me with Sam holding a Tommy gun. You know what I mean? Like, he's a cop, but interesting choice. If anything, I'd probably give this to one of my Joker figures. That would kind of work. Just a handgun for Sam would have been nice. Twitch comes with dual pistols. They're okay. There's not much to them, just silver pistols. Can't really say much about them. And then you have Sam himself. Now, these are the new iterations, the new looks, we'll just say, for Sam and Twitch. I don't mind that. I think the sculpts come across as very comic booky, and I like that. I like to have a little bit of element of comic book artwork to my figures. Spawn really encapsulates that over the years. So in that sense, I don't mind it. It's not a bad-looking figure. I like the wash all over the trench coat. It looks nice. More rotund Sam would have been ideal. He's very hollow, and again, that's where the cheapiness kind of feels in this figure, unfortunately. And again, a lot of the joints are stuck. And after what happened with Omega Spawn, I'm going to go really easy and tell you to do the same thing. The hands don't really spin because of the squared off nature of the coat right there. No, this gun does not come out. Why not? We've learned our lesson, right? With figures and having non-removable weapons. Also, why is it brown? Odd decisions all around. The head sculpt is not bad, but it's also not very Sam in a lot of the ways. I like the shirts. You got the belt, you got the pants. And then all of a sudden he popped apart at the waist. And that's, at this point, I'm going, what is with this wave, man? He just wasn't secure. Like, nothing broke. But again, that is the last thing you want when figures start coming apart on you. Even the knees, they're so hard to move. The feet move okay for what is there. He's got the little itty bitty legs. Again, once I popped the waist just wasn't in all the way. So it works now. He stays together. He's not popping out again. But in terms of the Tommy gun, here's another weird decision. You need two hands for a Tommy gun. He has a fisted hand and one open hand. You can't hold the Tommy gun with one hand. Nobody does that. I don't care what movies tell you. It's a two-handed gun, right? It's a powerful weapon. And, I mean, at this point, no extra hands. You can't even reach across his frame anyways. He doesn't have any butterfly joints. So all I can tell you is odd decisions all the way around with Sam, from the gun to the Tommy gun to no extra hands. It's just okay. That's really all I got. Now, Twitch, on the other hand, I think is the better of the two. Pegs in, has the stand. This is, again, the new look for Twitch. Instead of, I really like him with the push broom mustache, but this is fine. This is okay. It's the new updated look. He's got the tie right here. You can kind of do the Egon Spangler Kenner tie thing, right? Whoop, whoop. You know what I mean? That would be kind of cool. Have Spawn figures with action features to them, like in the old days, right? The legs, very tough to move. The knees themselves, very, very stiff. Go easy on all these figures. That's all I'm going to say. I do like his shoes. He's got Image Comics shoes, kind of pointed, very comic booky. So in that sense, Sam and Twitch honestly fare the best out of the entire wave, I would say, both in terms of nostalgia, me liking the characters. It's just odd choices here and there. Thankfully, though, with Twitch, I wouldn't say he has odd choices. It's just Twitch through and through. But when it comes to the guns, the way that the hands... Actually, I take that back. I would say the way that the guns are sculpted, also the hand paint, now that I'm looking at it, don't really match from the wrist. Again, this wave is kind of all over the place. It's just the way he holds the guns. Nobody really holds a gun like that. They're kind of pointed up because of the wrists. Because you have wrist articulation, though, you can make it work. Like, if he has it pointed up, it's cool. When he has it pointed off to the side or at an enemy, something like that, I don't know why that looks weird. So I'm going to say it's more in terms of just how the figure stands. Is it great? No. Is it bad? Yeah, it's not really a deal breaker. It just looks odd. And again, it looks like, yes, we didn't really pay attention to things. But again, if I can say anything, it's great to have Sam and Twitch back, despite the weirdness of them. But the height differential, I would say, is is kind of off too. I would say in terms of, let's say, this new Spawn figure, he's taller than Twitch, so it kind of works. But I see Sam being a whole lot bigger and Twitch being a whole lot smaller. You know what I mean? And then we have Plague Spawn, the final figure of the wave. And this is honestly, next to Sam and Twitch, me liking Sam and Twitch, having a new character like Plague Spawn, I was surprised, and he actually turned out to be one of the best as well. He comes with an old-fashioned looking base. He's got a peg on there. This one actually does work in standing him appropriately. It's flat-footed. You're not having to get him into weird positions. You can kind of have him situated every which way, and it works. You kind of have to play around with it, see what works the best, but largely, yes, it works with him. Plus, the paint, the wash, the skulls, very evocative of what I think about with Image Comics and Spawn. And then he comes with 2 extra hands, which that is great. I would love this more in DC Multiverse. The fact that the Spawn figures do it, why, that's even better. So I like these more outstretched, maniacal, crazy carnage hands. I think it works for Plague Spawn to have little ones, and then you feel like he just grew them and he's going to attack Spawn. So again, very cool, nice wash. This is pretty much a perfect package for a Spawn character because you have all those accessories and you have a fantastic figure to boot. The wash on him is great. The head portrait is great. Despite my feelings towards what they're kind of doing with Spawn recently, even though he's very Carnage symbiote, I mean, it looks great. I love the orange. It really pops amidst the black, blue, and gray tone of the body. All his spikes, everything that sticks out, this big, huge thing on the back of him. It's not removable, but it's flexible enough. It's not going to fall over and then snap anything. So that's a nice touch right there. But it just looks cool, and I think that that's the epitome of Spawn. Even the artwork. The story has always been like, oh, okay. You know, some things are great. But in more modern Spawn comics, I find myself scratched my head more than anything going, I like what came before, and that's not a problem. I can live in that realm. The articulation is solid as well in terms of just moving him around. There wasn't really anything stuck on this guy. He's actually a pretty solid figure. So it's curious to see how one figure can be just perfect and the other ones have weird decisions, weird problems, breaking, you know, things of that nature. So in that sense, I would say all of these are kind of a clearance type wave, depending on not if you're a big Spawn fan. Of any of them, I would say Sam and Twitch, just because I like them, and Plague Spawn would be a buy at the $25 mark, just because it's a great figure. It's a complete package, extra hands, base, 2 bases actually. So it's a home run in that sense. And when you do want to pair these figures up, of course, with Spawn figures of the past, or even Marvel Legend figures of the past, Spawn, Angela, I think it goes well. Plague looks to be more of a smaller type character, so it totally works in that sense. And then you have all the Sam and Twitch versions over the years, minus the ballistics gear Sam and Twitch. I don't have those, but you have the Ashley Wood, the originals, and then you have the new figures, and they all stack up pretty well. And in terms of Omega Spawn, despite my qualms, right, with being a mega figure and not being mega enough, he should be a lot bigger of a character. He does look good with Malbolgia. He is bigger than Spawn, so at least he's bigger than Spawn. That's really all I got for you. Nightmare Spawn, I really wasn't going to show you all this just because the figure is an abhorrent failure, but here's a bunch of demons for your Spawn collection. And also with King Spider being just kind of there. Yeah, he will kind of scale well. I think of him as being a bigger character as well. So that will wrap it up for my look at the brand new McFarlane Toys Spawn's Universe Wave 4. And largely, it's a kind of a disappointment through and through. Sam and Twitch aren't bad. Couple unique problems to them. Yes, Omega Spawn broke. Great sculpt on him, but definitely not a $50 figure, that's for sure. King Spider, he's just there. He's okay. He's got some good things going for him. No on this thing, whatever this is. No, absolutely not. That's all I'm going to say. And Plague Spawn, that's a home run. So, you've heard my thoughts, and now I'm curious to know yours. Comment below, let me know. Let's talk everything Spawn's Universe. And I'm going to leave you guys with that. As always, drink some great coffee, eat some great food, but most importantly, remember, I'm off to read my copy of Batman Spawn for 2022, #1. Wish me luck. And when you do, let me know what you found. I'll talk to you guys soon. Adios.